My name's Elisa Carroza. I'm co-owner of the Cool Frames and Art. It's a frame shop and art gallery. I'm also an artist. I'm a painter. I have my studio here in the shop. We primarily do custom framing. We also do rotating art gallery shows for local and national artists working in different mediums.
I'm Brock Brake, and I am co-owner and curator of F&B Gallery in downtown Oakland. So I curate, I also art handle. I work for a Berggruen Gallery in San Francisco. They're located across from SF MoMA. They have the Picassos and Matisses and stuff like that.
My name is Valerie Medina, and I'm a visual artist. I live here in the East Bay, and I've been painting and drawing since about the age of 7 or 8. Right now I concentrate on oils on canvas and acrylics on canvas and wood panel.
We opened our first shop inside of another boutique on Grand Avenue here in Oakland. Being an artist, and my husband was a photographer for many years, he was kind of building homemade frames for my art, and that kind of became a natural transition for him when he left the professional photography business and started doing framing. And then we decided we can start our own shop. And we had a friend who had a boutique here in Oakland, and she had some extra space and needed a little help with the rent, so we decided to take over a portion of her space, and that's where we started our first little counter in the back of another store.
My background is a photographer. I used to do freelance work for the Chicago Tribune and Time Out Chicago, so that's kind of how I fell in love with the gallery scene, essentially, and working with these artists was by spending time with them and documenting.
I didn't know from a young age that I wanted to do art. What happened was a second grade teacher noticed that I was doing a lot of art in class. And so she sent a note home to my mother to ask her to make sure that I had plenty of pencils and pastels and paper because I seemed to have an interest. And so she told my mother to foster that, and that's what my mother did, thankfully, and so that was always a part of my young life.
A lot of the artists that are up on the walls are normally people that I've worked with over the years, people I've been following their careers for years and years. Also, it's a lot of new people that I kind of have just recently found and really admire their work. In these exhibitions like what's up now, I usually blend a lot of local artists along with national and international artists, so that way there's kind of like a unique kind of harmony.
You know, a lot of people are people that we know, and then just as you get to know people, your community builds, and you meet their friends, and you have an opening for one show, and they bring other artists who are friends of theirs who introduce themselves, and you find out about their work, and so that's kind of how it's happened for us, is very organically. Usually people coming in the door, introducing themselves, sending us a link with images to their work or their website, but generally most of the time it's people we know and people that they know.
There are certain periods of time and certain events in my life that shaped me and made me maybe a little bit hard on the outside, but the art has helped soften me up and bring those experiences out and to where they don't hurt anymore. See, because when you can take an experience of trauma and express it, and in a way you're purging yourself and getting rid of it and putting it on paper, putting it in a painting, and you can look at it and it's no longer a part of you anymore. So, it's now there on the canvas, and you can say, I experienced that, I can feel it again, but it no longer hurts me.
Being an artist is about making your art no matter what, not necessarily making it for an audience, not necessarily making it for somebody to buy it. That's great, but for me, I find that my process is most successful when I'm not thinking about that, when I'm not thinking about sort of worrying about where it's going to be, who's going to buy it, who's going to want it, does somebody like this? It's really about, do I like this? Am I feeling like this is successful for what I set out to do? And I don't think that I could ever kind of let it go. It's something you feel you have to do. It's kind of therapeutic, and I'll probably never stop making art.
I mean, Oakland just kind of has its own thing. I don't really think that it necessarily reflects it in any particular way, but it's more of a reflection of Oakland. A lot of our artists, so we have 10 to 15 artists upstairs in the studios. Some of these artists are in the exhibition at the moment. They're, people that are a part of our community, the people that have murals up around the neighborhood and things like that. So they're definitely, a part of Oakland just by being here.
Well, I'm from the Bay Area and my experiences are here. So I guess in that way, if I'm a funnel and everything, all my experiences go through and out into my artwork, then yeah, I guess my experiences and my art is specifically the East Bay and the Bay Area in particular. Not only that, the Bay Area, we keep talking about how we live in a bubble.
It's changing on a daily basis at a rapid rate. I mean, whether it's the housing or the spaces being available for artists to create, it's kind of just constantly changing. I think it's better for creatives in Oakland than it is in San Francisco, just based on price points, the availability of spaces. The community is a lot stronger, I would say, out here than in San Francisco. But I still, it's still in transition.
I would say for most people, it's probably getting harder. The rents are going up. There's a lot less availability, and with all of the tech money flowing into Oakland and all of the people moving to Oakland, everything is costing more. I know very few artists who live solely off of their art.
A lot of people still have their part-time jobs, I would say it's half and half for this exhibition. There's people that teach at schools, people that have freelance contract work, whether it's illustration or design work, photography, all kinds of different things. So I think people will eventually be able to make money off just the one thing, but for now, it's got to be both.
I don't know anybody who's doing art full time. There's always a side gig. I have a 40-hour side gig. So
I've been able to help a lot of artists that I work with kind of become more self-sustaining artists, to where they've been able to start quitting their part-time jobs, just dive in and just make art full time. Also, where we're at, it's really nice having the studios upstairs and being able to provide these creatives that are living here, a very affordable rent. Essentially, they're paying what we get for the spot. We don't profit off what we make for, their rent. So that's kind of a rare thing for the Bay Area. They're paying like $200, $280 for shared to private units. So it's not that expensive when some people are paying like $600 for places out, near San Leandro, which is much farther away from BART and all of that. So, it's a give and take.
let me put it this way. When society changes or is gone, or a part of society is gone, it's the artists that told the story. And that's what artists are. We are the storytellers of civilization.
Again, the community is important, and there just needs to be more places in general. I don't think that there could be enough.